What's up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician Dane Martinez, and today we got to talk about what happened at MetLife on Sunday as the Jets fall and fall hard, 34-10 to the division rival Miami Dolphins. And quite frankly, just like it says there on the bottom, we unraveled early. It was 21-0 in the first quarter, and we saw a glimpse potentially of the future, at least the future, the rest of the season, because Tyrod Taylor went down and Brady Cook came in to quarterback. The other thing that we talk about here on the bottom of the screen is you can join to become a Jets Latest insider. You can click on that and subscribe to the Jets Latest channel. And thank you. We just crossed over the 2,500 subscriber mark. Thank you to everybody who's subscribing, who's watching the videos, liking the videos. Tell a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend. But let's get into it, okay? It was, in fact, Brady Cook who took over for Tyrod Taylor. Now, interestingly enough, I talked about this. Justin Fields wasn't up for this game because he had a knee injury, so he was inactive, and Brady Cook became the QB2. Then, when Tyrod Taylor left the game with a groin injury, Brady Cook comes in. The Jets were already down 21-0, okay? And so, here's the thing. I talk about how this offense is not built to be in obvious passing situations. I've been saying that all season long about staying on schedule with the run game, right? How with our weapons on the outside, with our quarterback play, we are not built to make 3rd and 10s. We are not built to come back from multiple scores. That was the situation that Brady Cook was in. So to be honest, I give him a pass on this one for a lot of reasons. One, he was just called up from the practice squad earlier this week. This is the first time he was really active as the backup quarterback the entire season, right? Ultimately, he goes 14 of 30, 163 yards. He does throw two interceptions. I will say this also, though. There were a lot of drops by Jets receivers today. Mitchell dropped a couple. Mechie dropped a couple. Cook's day could have looked a little bit better. There was a lot of drops. And then Brady Cook, after the game, goes, it's a challenge, but a great challenge. One that comes with the job of being a backup quarterback. I felt ready to play today and obviously didn't do enough to get a win. So listen, Brady Cook does and says the right things. Remember, this is not like a second-round draft pick. This is not even like Shedeur Sanders, a fifth-round draft pick. This is an undrafted free agent rookie who's been on the practice squad, was just elevated this week, not getting any kind of practice reps, goes out there, and there were some throws that he made that were pretty good. Now, do I think he is the future quarterback of the Jets? No, but I do think he's going to be under center. We'll see what happens with Tyrod Taylor and that groin injury. We'll see what happens with Justin Fields and the knee injury, but as the Jets lose again, and we are kind of looking for the draft, looking to kind of accumulate losses here and see what we have, Brady Cook may wind up starting for the next couple of games, okay? And I would want to see what he looks like with a full week of practice, with a full week of reps with the ones to build some chemistry with these guys like Mitchell, like Mechie. Remember, both of those guys are new to the roster. Brady Cook got no kind of reps over training camp with Adonai Mitchell and with John Mechie, right? So the idea of giving them some kind of practice together, I think, would be important. I mentioned Shedeur Sanders, right? Remember how Shedeur Sanders looked really bad in his debut when he came in for Dylan Gabriel, but then with a week of practice there with the ones, looked a lot better and actually won a game. So I want to give Brady Cook the benefit of the doubt, but obviously it didn't look amazing. Only about 50% of the throws, no touchdowns, and 2 picks. The only score the Jets got all game in this 34-10 loss to Miami, what do you know? Was the special teams. Another return touchdown for the Jets. This time it was Isaiah Williams, his second punt return for a touchdown so far this season. I think it was interesting because if you remember, the last time they played the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football, it was Williams who fumbled the second half kickoff, and they would talk about he got like cut and then he got brought back, right? So kind of a redemption story for Williams. He now has 2 punt return touchdowns. The Jets have 4 special teams touchdowns so far. The 2 punt returns, the 1 kickoff return that they have, and remember, the Will McDonald blocked field goal for a touchdown against Tampa. They lead the league in kickoff return average at over 29.6 a kickoff return. And so far with the 3 kick returns that they have, 2 punts, 1 kickoff, they have 3 of the 15 total kick return for touchdowns so far in the NFL this season. I have been saying it on Jets Latest for a time. The Jets special teams is truly the best in the league. And there was a moment there in that game. It was 21-0 when Williams returns the punt to make it 21-7. All of a sudden, it kept the Jets in the game. It really gave them a little bit of a boost. Now, nothing continued to happen there. They got blown out, right? Brady Cook couldn't move them. But once again, this special teams is starting to be something we can actually rely on. This is now a growing sample size. Speaking of growing sample size, still with special teams, big shout out to our guy Austin McNamara, who earlier last week was named the AFC Special Teams Player of the Month of November. So the accolades starting to come on in here for the Jets special teams as well. Big shout out to Chris Banjo, the special teams coach. But again, Isaiah Williams looking dangerous, making plays in the return game. It was the only offense we had all game. And like I said, it kind of gave us a little bit of juice, but it didn't matter. Why? Because on defense today, on Sunday, we could not stop the run at all. Remember how I talked about going into this game that I thought the Jets were going to be able to run the ball because Miami hadn't been able to stop the run? Well, the Jets were even worse than I could have ever expected in this one, okay? Devon Achane had 92 yards on just 7 carries before he left with a rib injury. Don't matter. Jalen Wright came in, ran for 107 yards on 24 carries and had a touchdown. They both had a touchdown. The Dolphins as a team ran for 239 yards. The Dolphins as a team averaged 5.8 yards a carry. Remember last week also, Bijan Robinson ran for 142, and the Falcons averaged over 5 yards a carry. The Jets have now allowed over 150 rushing yards a game in 4 of their last 6 games. Their run defense has been blunt guts trash. Maybe it's not a coincidence that has happened after and since they have traded Quinnen Williams away, who was obviously that key run stuffer that they had, one of the best interior linemen in the league, and was performing as one of the best interior linemen in the league all season long. Now he's doing that for the Dallas Cowboys. And listen to what his brother, Quincy Williams, had to say. And first of all, look at what Quincy Williams showed up looking like going to the game with like a Joker face paint going on. This isn't even Halloween weekend. Came looking like the Joker, and then guess what? It was the Jets run defense that was the joke. Quincy Williams afterwards says, we knew they were going to come out fast. We didn't. They had a lot of movement and a lot of smoke and mirrors to get us off our spot, and we did not show up. This is now a growing concern for the Jets and the Jets defense. Like I said, 4 of the last 6 games, opponents have run for over 150 yards on them. They were getting chunked, gashed in the run game. Now, Jawan Briggs, Harrison Phillips, guys like that, they were playing well early in the season, but they were doing that playing next to Quinnen Williams, right? So this is becoming a problem. Guys like Jermaine Johnson, Will McDonald's, these are decent edge rushers, pass rushers, but not big in the run game. Remember, even back in the summertime, it was about Will McDonald having to add weight so he could actually set the edge in the run game, right? I've been saying, and I will continue to say and even elevate this, going into this offseason, being good in the trenches is going to be the priority. I have said D-line. Maybe you want to add linebacker level to that. We've got to be able to stop the run without Quinnen Williams, and that has not been the case ever since Quinnen Williams has departed. Like I said, 4 out of 6 games, 150 plus yards. The Miami Dolphins running for 239 yards. We are just getting absolutely gashed, and I do believe the front 7 is going to be a priority for this organization in the offseason, whether it's in free agency and or in the draft. Remember, we do have those 4 picks in the top 45 or so. We'll see how the dust settles on that. We'll talk about throughout the rest of the week, because that draft position did kind of move a lot. Not only the Jets pick because of other teams that pulled upset victories, but also big things happen with the Indianapolis Colts that we will get into, and we have their picks, with the Dallas Cowboys, and we have their picks, but we will talk about that throughout this week. But in this game against the Dolphins, Brady Cook is the headline. Brady Cook may get an extended look, and I would not judge him based on the fill-in duty for Tyrod Taylor. Again, these guys, Adonai Mitchell, John Mechie, he has had no reps whatsoever with these guys. Let's see what it looks like with a week of practice. The special teams continues to dominate and literally be the best special teams in the entire NFL by most margins, whether it's accolades for Austin McNamara, whether it's 3 return touchdowns out of the 15 across the entire league, whether it is the best return average in the entire league, and more. Special teams continuing to be the most special teams of them all. And we've got a problem stopping the run ever since Quinnen Williams is now gone. That'll do it for this episode of Jets Latest. Those are my takeaways from a 34-10 loss at home against the Miami Dolphins. But remember, if you want to talk, you could put it in the comments. I love reading out your comments. I thank everybody that's subscribing, liking, watching these videos. And if you are in the fantasy playoffs, check me out over on the FTN Fantasy Show on SiriusXM. You know it by now. I'm over here trying to help you win your leagues and win that cash. Let's see what some of you Jets Latest regulars had to say. Jersey for Hawks. This is before the Miami game. Says, versus Miami, let's run Brees all day and hit Taylor much more over the middle. We never had that chance because we were down 21-0 early. Old Dave 1000, my big time day one Jets Latest regular, says, always here, always supporting your show and the Jets. I'm very excited about this team's direction. This is exactly what building a winning culture looks like. Colts and Cowboys tank is on, so it's fun to root for someone else to lose. About the Colts and the Cowboys, well, the Colts and the Cowboys did lose, and they lost more than just games. We'll talk about that during the week. And then Harlem Abraham, another Jets Latest regular, says, the draft will take care of itself. Who knows? The Jets just got to get some good supporting players early in the draft and then maybe take a quarterback in day 3 who can be good. The Jets took a QB with the number 2 overall pick and the number 3 overall pick. That 2 pick was Zach Wilson. That 3 pick was Sam Darnold. What happened to those picks? They didn't make it as Jets build the team. We will talk about team building throughout the week. We will talk about that draft capital throughout the week, but we will also continue to see what people are saying about the Jets' run defense, which I think is an issue, about Brady Cook and any kind of opportunity he gets, and everything as we continue on into the final month of the 2025 season, all right? So I'll be here every day. Thank you to everybody. You could also hit me up on social media at Spittin' Speeds, but for this episode of Jets Latest, we out of here. Peace. The Jets lose 34-10 to the Miami Dolphins.